What's going on, everybody? It is your man, Clayton Terry, and we're going to cut this video up into little two parts here. So I'm going to show you the interview I had with QSC on the new QSC column array, and then we're going to discuss it in greater detail because I think there's some things that we need to talk about. So enjoy the video. I will see you afterwards with my commentary. Okay. What's going on, everybody? It's your man, Clayton Terry, and we are at NAMM 2025 checking out the brand new QSC K line array. Do you call them line arrays or do you call them column arrays?
Column
arrays.
It's actually not an array. That's a bit of a misnomer.
Yeah, I know, but all the DJs call them line arrays.
Fair enough.
Column arrays, and this is brand new, and this is brand new for QSC.
Absolutely.
So, what made you decide to finally come out with one, first off?
I mean, the short answer is, everyone else is doing it. So we knew we wanted to kind of come to the table with this form factor and serve this customer, with this form factor. It was something that was requested of us for years.
Yes.
But every time we kind of came to the project, we didn't like the technological background of it. There's inherent issues with traditional column technology, with exactly column arrays. So it took us a little while to develop what we ended up coming up with, but what we ended up really making is a three-way loudspeaker system. It's not really an array at all, meaning we don't have like your traditional array of smaller drivers that kind of make up the sound source.
Right.
We have a head unit which houses a 1-inch compression driver with our leaf waveguide, and I've actually got a prop back here that I can share. Oh, can I grab this?
Sorry, yeah.
All right. Running all around this thing.
Yeah.
So this is without the grill. You can see this is our leaf waveguide right here.
Okay.
So the compression driver's back here. It feeds into this. This has all kinds of little curved pathways inside of it that allow us to essentially get the performance of a deeper waveguide in a shallow enclosure. So we get very high performance and clarity and intelligibility in our top end with this loudspeaker, especially at high volume, well, at any volume level, but it performs really well at high volumes, which is where traditional columns kind of can tap out. They start getting
the limiter kicks in and then it's all trash.
Exactly. Yeah. So compression driver gives us that really nice, sparkly, clear high end. Now underneath that we have two custom 4-inch mid-range transducers. Okay, so that's our mid-range. So we've got our high, our mids. There's a passive crossover network in here. So they're both operating within a specific limited bandwidth.
Okay.
So you really get a high level of performance out of this as if it was a three-way, if you had a top box and a subwoofer system.
Yes.
But it's in a nice, clean, unobtrusive form factor.
Right.
I'm gonna set this down.
Now, just real quick though, because I see that you do have the extender here. Yeah. Can you apply this to right in place?
Absolutely. Check it out. Okay. So, comes apart really easy. You want to give me a hand?
Yep.
Yeah. Just like that.
So if it's on a stage or you still
that's exactly right. If you need to elevate it, you drop to half stick and your audience is still within the coverage pattern.
Yes, exactly.
The coverage pattern, by the way, we got 145-degree horizontal coverage pattern, so very wide.
Right.
But limited 35-degree vertical coverage, and that again just kind of isolates the listening area, and you don't get it going where you don't need it to go, and creating reflections and things like that.
I gotcha.
The subwoofer down here, this is a 12-inch direct radiating high excursion subwoofer. Housed in here. Again, very high performance, and we're able to get a lot of performance out of that 12-inch driver, more than you would expect from a 12-inch driver. The whole system is powered with a 3,000-watt amplifier with power factor correction and a universal power supply.
QSC's always been good with power.
That's where we started. Amplifier technology is our background. That is a custom-made amplifier. Obviously, we made the amplifier. This amplifier is providing 2,000 watts just to the sub. So it's getting a lot of power, so it can really keep up. And then 1,000 watts to the head unit here. So 3,000 watt total system. This is capable of producing 132 dB of peak SPL at 1 meter.
132.
It can do that while drawing less than 2 amps from the circuit.
Really?
So highly efficient Class C amplifier in there. A lot of DSP features as well. We've got Bluetooth connectivity, so you can pair a device.
It's a stereo Bluetooth.
We got true stereo wireless if you're using 2. You can actually connect up to 4, however.
Oh, really?
And in the DSP, you can assign them to be either stereo right or left or mono.
And can you set the delay in the app?
Yes.
Okay.
You can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. Well, there isn't an app yet, but you can set the delay in the loudspeaker.
Gotcha. Perfect. As long as it's somewhere.
It's in there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
There's up to 200 milliseconds of architectural delay.
Okay.
And in the menu, it's actually displayed in milliseconds, feet, and behind meters.
Gotcha.
So it's really easy and quick to just dial up exactly how much you need. DSP features also include an onboard EQ.
Okay.
I mentioned the delay subwoofer level control. So you can there's a default or a balanced mode, which is just kind of flat. You can give it a little bit more with our boost and our deep modes, or you can take the sub down all the way out if you want to. You can disengage the sub entirely.
Now, when we go in there to test it, what settings are they on? Do you know?
So there's going to be multiple demos.
Okay.
The first demo is going to be a single unit by itself.
Right.
That is set to the boost mode, which is how it comes out of the box. So we just want you to hear it as it comes. You unpack it, you turn it on. That's what it sounds like.
Gotcha.
Now the second demo, we play a stereo pair, and we do have those set in the deep mode, so you can experience the extra, the extra sub.
Yes.
Now we don't actually call that in the demo. Okay. So, but since you asked, that's what we're doing.
No, and that's fine. So, another one of the problems with column arrays is the aggressive limiting of sound.
Yes.
And also, I'm going to give you a two-part question. So it's the limiting of sound, and it's also after a certain amount of time when heat is building up and you lose your bass.
Yeah.
Are you guys putting any technology in there to prevent that?
Yes. There is a protection circuit. There is a heat sink kind of network built into the subwoofer around the amplifier.
Right.
And we test these things hard.
Okay.
Like one of the things that we do at QSC is we really make sure that we're going to deliver a robust product that's going to keep going and serve our customers. So we put these things basically through hell.
Okay.
And they deliver. They keep up. You can run this thing loud for hours and it's not going to crap out.
Gotcha.
It's gonna maintain its quality throughout the entire event.
That. Now, the big question: this size system here, how many people would you recommend that at a standard party?
Okay.
How many people can you do with this?
You could probably, with one.
With two.
Okay, if you have two, you're going to easily hit between 300 and 500 people.
300 and 500 people.
Correct.
With full bass and everything on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now, one of the cool things, like if you do require, if you got a larger event like that or an outdoor event, and you do feel like you need more bass, you can actually add more subwoofers to the side of this. One of the outputs is assignable as a
cardioid,
not cardioid, but it's a external sub output. Okay. So you can daisy chain an additional sub, even like an 18. You can pair an 18 with this, and it will apply a little bit of delay to that subwoofer to phase align.
So if I grab my 118 and pop it right next to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And one of the reasons we're able to do that is because this head unit is capable of pushing such high SPL that it can keep up with additional subwoofers.
I see.
So you can get a very, very big, loud, full-sounding system for those larger events.
Price?
It's about $2,000.
$2,000. Okay, that's not bad.
So $20.99.
Okay, all right.
The white one is $100 more.
Gotcha. I'm just the white tax, huh?
White tax. You know how it is.
I get you. Well, we are going to take a listen in the room, and I'll give you guys a good demo so you can hear what it sounds like. But from what you're describing, it sounds like you guys really put some thought into it, and
we have
made a good quality speaker, which is all we really want as DJs.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
And what's your name again?
Jason.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jason from QSC. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And we will hopefully get a chance to really listen to him. Thank you. See you next time. We're going to stop the video here because this is probably one of the more frustrating things that I, as a tech reviewer, have to talk about. And that is creating problems that don't need to be there. Literally creating issues by providing misinformation. Okay. So when I ask the question of how many people can two of these power on a given party, he tells me 300 to 500 people. Now, this is just flat out incorrect. Now, I'm not here to tell him exactly how he's using them. If it's a cocktail party and nobody's dancing, you just need to provide background music, maybe some speakers for speeches and things like that. I'm sure that these speakers would probably be fine for 200-300 people. But if you're on a dance floor, a packed dance floor with 200 people, I can guarantee you I can guarantee you that these aren't going to provide enough sound, bass, high, for that party. Now, I think the issue that we're dealing with here is the same thing that EV found early on with their Evolve 50s. Everybody and their mom was telling people that these speakers can do it all. Okay, that's what's happening with QSC right now. There's a huge trend happening where everybody's talking about QSC, rightfully so. I'm a QSC fanboy. I own several sets of QSC point source speakers. Don't have any arrays yet, but I've owned several of them. I use QSC every weekend when I do my parties. 12.2s and the 118s. They go out every single weekend if the party is 150 and above. Okay, 130 and above. But there's a word that I think we need to absorb into us. And that word is application. Okay? Application means you are putting that speaker into a situation where it can succeed. Okay? Application. You're using it in the wrong application. So when somebody says, oh, I can use these to power my 300 person party, that's the wrong application for these speakers in particular. Now, do I think that they're fine? Yes, they're going to be fine. They're 12-inch speakers. I'm not going to have a problem with that. But I've heard them 3 different occasions now in 3 different rooms. And what I'm trying to understand is where the excessive, okay, that's the word here, where the excessive hype comes from. Because they sound fine. They sound like a 12-inch column array, because that's what they are. Nobody's expecting their 12-inch column array to power 200, 300, 400 people. That's just unrealistic in the way we're thinking. But 75 people, 100 people, absolutely, they would be fine. Now, after hearing them, I believe what everybody else says. The highs sound amazing. I did not feel the same impact from the subs. Every time I heard the subs, they sounded like they had a low-level distortion happening in the sub cabinets. Now, that could be several things. It could be the DJ pushing too hard. There were multiple DJs, but it could be the DJs pushing too hard. It could be the sound engineer, pushing the envelope a little too much, and you're getting distortion. I heard distortion every time. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't take those and tweak them and put them on a party with 100 people and they're not going to sound good. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that they are not the end all speakers. And I think we need, as a community, to get out of this one speaker to do it all concept. They don't exist. One speaker does not exist. Fortunately or unfortunately for whomever's spending the money, it does not exist. If you want to have speakers that can work for everything, there's only one thing you can do, and that's buy a larger speaker that can power 300 people and that can power 75, 50 people. But you're not going to get that with a 12-inch column array. There is a limit that you can push out sound on a 12-inch speaker. And I want people to start getting in the habit of just being honest with what it is they're selling and what it is they're purchasing. Now, this might seem like I'm talking about QSC specifically, and I am, but I'm also talking about just in general, the situation that we're dealing with all these arrays. EV got into trouble with their 50s because everybody was saying, oh yeah, I use these on parties of X amount of people. And the reality is they never told people that that's the number that you should be striving for. It's using them in the right application. If you use an eVerse 8 or a Mackie Thump Go or a Bose S1 and you're using them for cocktail or for ceremony sound, you're not going to turn around and say, oh, by the way, these are also my main speakers. Let me turn it up and let's dance. You're not going to say that because it's the wrong application for those speakers. And I don't know what it is about column arrays that people think that one size fits all. It does not. This is just me being real, me being truthful and honest to everybody out there. I'm not telling you not to buy the QSC speakers. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying, please understand what you're buying so you are not disappointed once you get them into your own place. I know that when I use the Bose L132s, or if I use the LD28s, or if I use the Maui 44s, I know that each speaker is going to provide a different sound. It's going to be a different application for each setup. I'm not taking a 28s to a 300 person party. It's not going to work. They're going to say, turn it up, and I'm not going to be able to turn it up. And no DJ wants to ever hear, turn it up. Can you make it a little louder? We're dancing. Can you push it up? And you have no room to go. And I feel like with column arrays, there are limits to each speaker size. And that could be, if it's a 12 inch, maybe it's 100, 120 people. If it's a 15, maybe it's 150 to 160. If it's an 18, you're 200, you're 250, so on and so forth. Now, I will tell you honestly that I'm the guy that always tries to make an excuse to bring my LDs, my 28 G3s. Now, why is my excuse? They're easy. They're lightweight. They're quick setup. I can get in and get out. The sound is good up to a point. But I know where it stops. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes, like this weekend, I got a party of 175, 100, 200 people. I'm bringing the big QSC point sources because those are the only ones that are going to be able to power the party. Again, these are expectations. And I feel like a lot of people, the reason that they think that all column arrays sound good is because they've never really heard like a passive speaker system. They've never heard when Cerwin Vega was the thing and you had earthquakes, they never heard, like maybe you're rocking a passive JBL SRX, right? And you're running them through those QSC 40, 50 amps and, you're pushing them out and they're sounding amazing. There's still nothing better than an amped system, okay? Bi-amp system, amps for your highs, amps for your lows. There's still nothing better. But it's a lot more work. It's a lot harder. The transportation is harder. Everything's heavier. It puts a lot of stress on you. So I get it. And when column arrays came out, it was an easy, oh my gosh, that's all I got to bring? And the sound's going to be adequate? Okay. I'll trade in greatness for comfort. But we're not there anymore. You get what I'm saying? Like there's at a certain point, we have to feel like we're putting out the best possible product for our clients. And I know that a lot of places have noise ordinances. So you can get away with the Evol 50. You can get away with the LD28 in these bigger rooms because the noise ordinance says you can't get above, 80 decibels outside the door. So I get it. I understand why people think that. But when there's no noise ordinance and there's 200 people and they just want to go hard, for the most part, you're not getting that out of a QSC 12-inch speaker. It's not going to happen. Can we just be honest with ourselves here? And I think QSC, it would behoove them to be honest too. When I was talking to EV about their new systems, I asked them point blank, how many people can this do? And they were very honest with me and they gave me a realistic number. And because they've been burned, they know that like the EV50s and the 30s, there's a certain application for them and then you have to stop. But people took it and told everybody that's all you need. It's all it. The hype was so high that when I rented some Evol 50s for my wedding in Montana last year, and they turned them on, I was so disappointed. Not disappointed in the speakers, disappointed in the hype because they don't live up to the hype. They were fine, but they weren't like blowing my mind. They were exactly what I expected a column array to be. So all I'm saying is that I'm sure the QSCs will be fine in the right application, but these are not going to be the speakers that you take with you on every single party. Cocktail parties, 100 people or less, not this 300 people. It's very hard for me right now to not just like blow up on that. And you saw on the video, I was shocked out of my mind. So I would just suggest that everybody that's interested in any speaker, whether it be the EV90s, the EV70s, the QSC, any speaker, do yourself a favor and go listen to them before you put your hard-earned money down. And if you know you want that QSC system, make sure you're buying it for the right reasons. Make sure you're using it for the right application, or you're going to be disappointed. Or maybe you're not going to be disappointed, but your client may be disappointed. I want to have to turn down my system, not turn it up, and I've stopped. Anyway, these are just opinions. I would normally push the video because I've recorded the videos of the system, but if I do that, I'm gonna get demonetized for it. So I will post the video in my Discord, so you can go in there and take a listen to them yourself. But I want you to be honest with me when you listen to them and you tell me what you hear. Otherwise, again, I'm a big QSC fan. I really am. Their point source speakers are great. And I'm about to go and buy another pair of 12s to go along with my 18s that I can switch back and forth with. It's not about QSC, the speaker company. It's about this one product that I'm discussing. Now, you do with this however you will. But just know that it's coming from a very good place, even if you may be offended because you're a QSC fanboy and you don't want to hear anything negative about them. I don't have negativity about the speaker. I just have realistic expectations about the speaker. And I don't want to blow smoke up your butt and tell you these things are amazing. And then you get them home and you're like, they're fine. They're fine. Anyway, that's it for me. All right, guys, if you found what I said here useful, hit that like button. If you found what I said here really useful, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow me on the Instagrams and the threads. And also get on my Discord because that's where we talk about all things Cleveland Terry. Guys, girls, always a pleasure. If I don't talk to you later, we will talk soon. Peace.